Hey guys, so this is Michelle from Mental Health Sunday. For those that haven't seen my videos yet, you can find me on Instagram at RoseQClothingCA or on Facebook at RoseQ. So I'm coming at you from the living room today. Nothing fancy, I just wanted some natural light instead of the lighting on the ring light. So the reason why I wanted to talk about self-awareness today is because something kind of happened this week where, so long story short, in the past, in my relationships, I always struggled because I would go through phases, right? So I would have super happy moments, and then I would kind of go through a crash, like a bunch of stuff would pile up pretty much, and I would kind of crash, because I would never take the a minute to take a breath and deal with my shit. And in the past, when that would happen, I would usually blame the people around me, because I mean, we all know that it's not easy to take the blame. It's not easy to own up to our shit. It's not easy to stand up and be like, look, I'm fucking sorry. This is on me. It's not on you. And so I've been on my own for the last year. So this whole time that I've been working on myself and making changes and whatever, I've been pretty much by myself. So now that I'm hanging out with someone, now there's all this different shit that's coming up that I haven't been really able to work on by myself. So there's moments where I get completely lost and I'm just oh my fucking God, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to run away right now. I don't want to deal with this shit. So this week, I was going through my crushing phase, and my first reflex was to look outside of myself, and I didn't take a minute to breathe. I didn't take a second to relax or calm down or deal with the things that are in my head, or at least like I said, calm it down. So what happened instead is that I just kept pushing and kept pushing, kept going through my day, kept, putting energy into this relationship that I'm pursuing, and putting energy in my kids, in my cat, in everything around me, and except for myself. And what happens when you do that is that things build up, and all the stress that I've gone through in the last 2 weeks, it's okay, you go through it and you're okay, cool, I'm done, I'm good, I dealt with it. But unless you sit down by yourself and truly go through all of it and go through the emotions and answer a few questions that your mind's kind of going on about in your head, unless you do that, you're not really dealing with it. You're just kind of looking at it and we're okay, well, we'll just move on to the next thing. And I did that, and I just kept moving on and just whatever, until this week I just started feeling really tired, exhausted, drained, and it almost felt like the walls are closing in on me, and it was really irritating and really frustrating. And obviously I'm still working on my self-awareness, because if I was fully self-aware, I would have known. I would have been all right, this is me. I need to take a fucking minute to breathe. But sometimes it kind of slips past, and you don't notice it. So what happened is that my friend, pretty much everything that he was doing was pissing me off. Everything that he was doing was annoying the fuck out of me. Everything, he could have been doing, I don't know, something so good. He could be massaging me, and I'd be hey, stop fucking touching me. You're pissing me off. And it was horrible. And we got into fights and disagreements, and I was just in a really, really bad mood, and I had a headache, and I was tired, and I felt I kept picking fights with him. And then yesterday I kind of like blew up, and I was like, oh my God, you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing this. And I kept putting the blame on him. And then like we got home from the grocery store, and like we had just fought to the point where like we were both in silence because we're just like, whatever we say is going to piss the other one off. So we got home, well, to my house. And I went back outside and I kind of sat with myself, and I just, let the thoughts go through my head. Because I knew something was up, obviously. And then he ended up texting me, and we kind of like texted back and forth while he was in the house and I was sitting outside. I swear, like, communication is really hard. And what made it hard too is that we were both raised differently, and we're both coming from different worlds. So his type of communication is like, to me, it's not communication at all. So he has this way of like arguing, but to him it's not arguing, it's communicating. It's like this back and forth fun thing for him, and for me, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is draining my energy. Like, to me, this is arguing, and I don't know how to deal with this kind of communication. And what got me though is when he turned around and said he was sorry. And he said that, because I said that I would try and like understand him and try to have better communication with him. And he turned around and he said sorry, and said that I didn't have to change, that he would have to change. And I was just like, no, that's not okay. And I came in and I talked to him, and he was very emotional, and it just made me really sad, because if I would have been more self-aware in the last week, and if I would have taken a moment to just be with myself and be with my emotions about everything else, we wouldn't have been in this predicament. And he wouldn't have been feeling bad and feeling sorry for who he is and how he was raised. And like, obviously we can improve, but I just felt like my lack of self-awareness made him feel like he was at fault for something that he wasn't. And that's what I wanted to kind of bring up today. Being self-aware, it's really important for the relationships around you, whether that's a boyfriend, parents, family, coworkers, whatever. It's really, really important to be aware of your moods and your emotions and your ups and your downs and like your crashes. And that's with everything, because it was affecting everything. Like, I couldn't even sit down and doodle because I was just in such a negative place in my head. And I wasn't dealing with it. And I wasn't even aware until like yesterday, until what he said kind of triggered me. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that today, because I feel like a lot of people burn bridges and ruin relationships by not being aware of themselves. And I guess I'm hoping that maybe my little story will make you think twice the next time you get into an argument with someone else. Sometimes it's not them. Sometimes it's us. And we got to own up to that. We got to be honest with ourselves, and we got to stop putting the blame on other people. And it's not even just people. It's stressful situations. Like, just stop putting the blame outside of yourself. Take the blame, deal with your shit, be aware of your shit, be aware of everything, get to know yourself, so that the next time you go through a crash, you know what to do. All right, I'll see you next Sunday. Whoa. Oh my God, I'm such a weirdo.